just took a sharp, unexpected turn. According to courtroom spectators and online leaks, prosecutors have moved beyond Cassie. The focus has now shifted to audio. It's official. This Diddy trial is no longer just about Cassie. What started as a disturbing yet contained case centered on her testimony has now spiraled into something nobody could have predicted. This isn't tabloid fodder anymore. We're talking federal courtroom twists, leaked insider summaries, silent audio playbacks, and a flood of resurfaced clips dragging half of Hollywood through the mud. The internet's working overtime, the streets are buzzing, and the people involved, they're probably sweating harder than ever. So here's where things stand. After weeks of the prosecution laying out Cassie's story, the alleged abuse, the infamous freak-offs, and Diddy's controlling behavior, the case recordings, and not just any tapes. These are reportedly graphic, explicit recordings involving Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill. And no, this isn't just Twitter gossip anymore. This is reportedly being played in open court. It all started when hotel lobby surveillance footage was shown a few days ago. No sound, just video. At first, everyone thought that was as far as it would go, but now, insiders claim audio was played behind closed doors, leaving the entire room in complete, stunned silence. No phones, no journalists, no distractions, just stillness. One source described the clip as graphic male-on-male content. Undeniable, the kind of thing that freezes a room. And if that wasn't enough, it gets deeper. After that, new witnesses were introduced. Not random clout chasers, but ex-bad boy artists, former staff, people who worked for Diddy, toured with him, stayed at his parties. These are insiders who've seen things firsthand, people who've stayed silent for years but are finally speaking up under legal protection. One of those voices? Dawn Richard. You might remember her from Danity Kane, one of Diddy's former girl groups. She recently testified and was later photographed by paparazzi, looking visibly drained and frustrated while leaving court. Insiders say her testimony fully backed Cassie's claims. This isn't gossip, it's court record. And then there's Diddy's daughter. If you needed a moment that showed just how bad things have gotten, it was seeing her exit that courtroom. No smugness, no defiance, just pale, silent, visibly shaken. Even the paparazzi didn't shout questions. She didn't even lift her head. Insiders claim her reaction came right after the audio was played, making it clear just how heavy that moment must have been. But the implications go way beyond legal trouble now. This is about reputation, family legacy, and a web of secrets involving some of the most powerful people in the industry. Will Smith's name being attached wasn't random. It's reportedly connected to that audio. And of course, the internet wasted no time. Old clips, shady interviews, podcast moments, everything involving Will and Diddy started resurfacing. One clip that blew up again, comedian Luenell casually saying Diddy and Will were clapping each other's cheeks. She said it so casually, most missed it the first time. But this time, everyone caught it and the internet ran wild. But then came the deeper rabbit hole. Fans started revisiting old clips of quirky dad behavior was now being rewatched with a completely different lens. Suddenly, Will with Jaden Smith, the affectionate kisses, the overly playful energy. What was once seen as people were saying it didn't feel right. The tone shifted, and then came the nuclear moment. Brother Bilal, Will Smith's former assistant, dropped his own set of allegations that made everything even harder to ignore. He claimed he personally witnessed Will engaging in explicit acts, graphically describing a moment where Will allegedly played with another man's junk and tried to finger him. And that wasn't even the most shocking part. Bilal went further, saying he once walked in on Dwayne Martin bending Will over a couch like a yoga instructor. His words, not mine. After Brother Bilal lit the fuse with that wild Dwayne Martin claim, the internet basically turned into a CSI unit. Fans weren't waiting around for media confirmation. They started digging up clips, photos, old interviews, every moment where Diddy and Will were seen together at events, hugging, laughing, hanging out like close friends. Then Will tried to shut it all down with a hard denial. His quote, "I ain't nowhere near that man. I did none of that stupid stuff. So whenever y'all hear it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie." Except that made it worse. The second Will said that, people flooded Twitter and Reddit with receipts. Photos, videos, clips of him and Diddy being exactly near each other. Parties, clubs, award shows, casual hangouts. There's even a clip of them toasting champagne like old friends. Now, people weren't just suspicious. They felt lied to. And this is where Meek Mill enters the frame. His name popped up during the courtroom playback of those alleged freak-off tapes too. And once that happened, it was chaos. Unlike Will, who at least tried to deny things calmly, Meek went into full meltdown mode, tweeting nonstop, defensive post after defensive post. Honestly, the more he tweeted, the more people were convinced something was off. Thing is, Meek's name has been linked to Diddy's for years. Fans used to joke about their dynamic, calling Meek things like Diddy's intern, pocket puppet, and even darker stuff I won't repeat here. At the time, everyone thought it was trolling, but now those old jokes are resurfacing like puzzle pieces finally clicking into place. And yeah, the internet pulled receipts on Meek too. One viral video showed him at a party with billionaire Michael Rubin, hopping around like a kid who just lost a bet. People pointed out how uncomfortable it looked, like he was laughing it off, but his energy was off. You could hear a voice in the background laughing at him. Then came another clip. Diddy throwing Meek a birthday party. Seemed normal until you realized it was full of shirtless dudes by the pool, with Diddy on camera calling Meek Daddy. Proud of you. I love you. I appreciate life. Daddy. The internet didn't let that slide. Every time Meek tried to act hard online, fans threw that clip right back at him. Daddy became a meme overnight. And when Meek ranted, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the replies were flooded with screenshots, old tweets, and videos of him looking real cozy with Diddy. But what really had people talking was the mystery of the actual audio. So far, none of it has leaked. No video, no public clips, just whispers. Playback, just whispers from insiders and courtroom summaries. And that's exactly what's making it worse. Everyone's hearing how wild it supposedly is, but no one outside that courtroom has actually heard it. One insider even described it as a man being pounded while Diddy laughed in the background. That's the level we're talking about here. There was even a short clip floating around where someone claimed they had a recording of Meek and Diddy having sex. Now, whether that was real or just clout chasing is up for debate, but the buzz around it is undeniable. And the fact that the government hasn't released anything is making people even more suspicious. Because here's the thing. In the US, you can't just hide evidence in a criminal trial unless there's a damn good reason. Journalists have already started asking the tough questions. If this evidence is really that serious, why is it locked up? Why can't the public hear what's being used to possibly convict someone? If someone's being tried in court, transparency matters. Some argue it's about protecting the identities or dignity of the people involved. Others think it's because the audio is just too explosive, too many famous names, too much powerful influence behind the scenes. If this stuff actually leaks, it might not just ruin reputations. It could take down careers, destroy contracts, spark lawsuits, and even drag in people we haven't heard about yet. And that's the scariest part. If Diddy, Will, and Meek are just the tip of the iceberg, who else is caught up in this mess? As wild as all this sounds, the most disturbing part isn't even the celebrity name drops. It's the silence. We live in a world where everything leaks. iCloud hacks, court documents, even courtroom audio. It always finds its way online. But this time, not a single second of those alleged Diddy tapes has surfaced. Not a clip, not a whisper, not even a blurry still image. That silence is loud, and it's got people asking the one question that might blow this whole thing wide open. Who's protecting this? And that question has just opened a whole new rabbit hole. Because let's be honest, this trial stopped being about just Diddy and Cassie weeks ago. What's unfolding now is exposing a whole network, something deeper, a culture behind closed doors that may have been going on for years, with no one brave or powerful enough to bring it to light. The only reason it's all spilling out now is because of federal pressure, and because the survivors and insiders finally feel safe enough to speak. We're witnessing the complete unraveling of someone who's been in the spotlight for decades, someone who used to be untouchable. But Diddy was never just a music mogul. He was part of the very fabric of hip-hop, TV, fashion, and culture. He had that bad boy for life energy, the The wild parties, the vote or die campaign, the billionaire friends. But now all of that is crumbling in real time. What's wild is how many people are looking back now and saying, we should have seen this coming. Because in hindsight, the red flags were always there. His obsession with control over his artists, the strange interviews where he kept saying pause after almost every sentence, like he was half joking, half hiding something. Nearly every artist who left Bad Boy either vanished or came out broken. Day 26, Danity Kane, Aubrey O'Day, she's been trying to blow the whistle for years, and nobody listened. But now, the courtroom isn't ignoring it. And Don Richards' testimony added real weight to the idea that Diddy wasn't just problematic, he was allegedly predatory. She confirmed Cassie wasn't lying. Things did happen, and that type of corroboration in court, that's lethal. And the emotional fallout? It's not just hitting Diddy. Will Smith's already fragile reputation, still shaky from the Oscar slap, is now on thinner ice. People who defended him after that are now rethinking everything. Because if these audio tapes are real, and if Will's on them, it won't just be a PR disaster, it could end his career. As for Meek Mill, the internet's already treating him like he's finished. He hasn't been charged, but the way he's reacting, the defensive posts, the y'all trying to ruin me rants, it's only adding more suspicion. And that's the brutal thing about public opinion. Once your name is linked to something this dirty, it almost doesn't matter if you're legally innocent. You've already lost in the perception game, and yet still, nothing from the government. No official statements about why the tapes aren't being released, no explanation, nothing. And that silence is making it worse. It's got people thinking these tapes are too hot to touch. Maybe the people on them are too famous. Maybe there are secret deals in play. Or maybe the government itself is walking a political tightrope, trying not to blow this case open too fast. So now we're stuck in this weird limbo. The court keeps moving, the internet keeps digging, and the people allegedly involved are walking around like nothing's happening. But that's not going to last forever. This isn't the kind of scandal that stays buried, because the internet doesn't forget, and it doesn't forgive. And when people think the truth is being hidden from them, they only dig harder. If these tapes ever leak, it's not just going to shake Diddy, it could shake the entire foundation of Hollywood's elite circles. Not just because of what Diddy allegedly did, but because of who else might have been in that room. The velvet curtain is pulling back, and what's behind it might be darker than anyone expected. And we'll be watching.